Hey guys, it is May the 27th, 2024, and today I want to talk about a subject that one of the subscribers was talking to me about in the comments, and what I want to discuss today is loneliness. And I'm just going to share, kind of my experience with this and, kind of what I've dealt with, maybe just talk about it just a little bit today and, my experiences with it, and I guess I'll just hop right into it. So when before I got sick, I had a lot of friends. I hung out with a lot of people, especially, since I still drank. And a lot of my friends, were drinkers, still are drinkers. And once I got sick and, decided to remove myself from alcohol, I kind of had to remove myself from a lot of those individuals as well. And just to, it wasn't like there was anything wrong with those people. I just wanted to separate myself because I didn't want to put myself in temptation's way. And I knew that, if I was still hanging around those people and, going to places where they were, stuff like that, that there would just be a lot of temptation involved in it. So, I just quit going to places where my friends were. I'd stop going to their houses or whatever, having them over to my place. Although I still kept in touch with a lot of them. I just didn't hang out with them like I used to. But, like I've talked about in the past, I got sick the first time, and, I worked that whole summer, continued to do my business, everything was doing fine, and, I still had a pretty good group of friends that, I still talk to, people that I would see on a normal basis, and, then after I got sick the second time and ended up in the hospital, that was the period of time after that I was bedridden for months. I couldn't get out of the bed. I was stuck laying around all day long. And, it's one of those things that unfortunately, I kind of found out, who my real true friends were during that period of time. It wasn't a lot of them, and not saying that, everybody were just terrible friends, but, everybody just kind of moved on with their life and, went and did their own things. And there were a lot of days that I was very, very, very lonely. When you're laying in the bed all day long, day in and day out, a short little, conversation with somebody, can really make your day. And just somebody giving you a phone call and talking to you, or somebody coming by to see you, it really does improve your mood. And there were a lot of days when I was, in a very lonely, sad state, and I reached out to a lot of people, and, people have their own lives to live, and I get that. But there were just a lot of periods when, I'd reach out to people and, they'd say, hey, I'm in the middle of something, I'll give you a call back, and I'd never hear back from them. And, I had certain individuals that I thought that I was really close with, and, unfortunately, after I got sick, I found out that wasn't the case. And these individuals knew how sick I was, how lonely I was. I mean, I would call certain people, in tears, crying, because I was just so depressed. I was sad. I mean, I really thought that was it. These are certain people, I spoke to on a regular basis beforehand, we shared everything with each other. And then, after I get sick and I can no longer go out, I guess, and do things anymore, I guess I just, I don't know if I made those certain individuals sad, or if they just didn't want to come around because they felt bad. I don't know the reasons behind it. All I know is that they stopped coming around, they stopped talking to me, and that was hard on me, especially, when you think somebody's a really, really close friend of yours and then they're not coming around anymore. And, you know, it makes you wonder, like, did you do something wrong or what? But, you know, at the end of the day, it was a very, very lonely time for me. And I still experience a lot of lonely times. I just deal with it differently now. And I guess during that period of time, it taught me how to be alone. You know, something I never really dealt with much. I was always surrounded by people. When I went to work, there were so many people around me, not including the employees, but, you know, guests would be around. And I just had a lot of friends. And, you know, I always had somebody to talk to. You know, if anything, I had more stuff going on back then than I really could handle. You know, somebody would call, want me to come here or go there, and I, you know, was really trying to juggle everything during that period of time. And then going from being extremely busy and trying to juggle life and, you know, hang out with this person or that person or go to this family event or whatever, and then it gets to a point where all that stuff just goes kaput and it stops completely. That's really hard to adjust to, and it was hard for me to adjust to. You know, especially since I was stuck at home and I was very ill, and, you know, I had a lot of dark thoughts that were going through my mind during that period of time, and I just needed somebody to talk to. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, they probably, you know, some of these certain individuals probably didn't want to hear me griping and whining like I was. You know, because, you know, I would get on the phone with them or something, and we would start talking about normal everyday stuff, and, you know, next thing you know, I would start crying and getting upset and talking about my feelings and how I felt and how depressed I was. And I guess they would just, you know, I guess maybe I brought them down and they didn't want to deal with it. And it was the conversation they just didn't want to have. But, you know, I was a very lonely person during that period of time. And, you know, I guess the point of today's video is that if you're at home and you're lonely right now, you're not alone. There are many people out there who are. You know, and it's strange too, because in this day and age, with the amount of, you know, availability for communication that we have, there are more lonely people in the world than ever before. And I think that, you know, more than anything, we've kind of lost that personal connection with people. And I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people. You know, we just don't interact as much as we did back in the day, maybe. I don't know. You know, one thing I was thinking about before I started filming this video today, I was getting ready to film, and I was thinking about, you know, the topic for today and all that stuff, and I was, you know, kind of brainstorming about today's video, and I was thinking to myself, one of the subscribers, Chickens Don't Surf, has been talking to me over some time about creating some kind of like Discord or something like that. And I'm not really that familiar with those types of applications or websites or whatever. I've never really gotten on them. But she's been talking to me for quite some time about creating some kind of, you know, like I said, like a Discord or some kind of like a social media kind of place where we could all communicate with each other. Because right now it's just basically the comment section on these videos for people to communicate with each other on. And, you know, her thought process is that we need to have some kind of a place that people can go and talk with each other and communicate and help each other along and all that kind of stuff. And I just have not, you know, really delved into it. But when I was thinking about it this morning and thinking about, you know, loneliness and all that kind of stuff, I was thinking, you know, she really had a good point, and I really need to, you know, do some research into this and try to find something that is going to work, some kind of a platform that will work for everybody as a means to communicate. And if any of you guys have any really good ideas, you know, what would work for you guys, what kind of platform would be best for us to set up for us to communicate with, because I think it'd be really good. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be able to spend a whole lot of time in there, you know, so I just don't want to get the idea that you know, that we're going to create this and then I'm going to be in there, you know, 24/7, because I just can't. But I would more or less like to have some kind of a platform for people to go in, communicate with each other, If there are people out there that are on this channel that are feeling lonely or are struggling really bad one day and they need to reach out to somebody, or whatever it may be, somebody's looking for, there could be different kind of sections in this platform, whatever it is. We could have like a medical advice section or a medical questionnaire section, where somebody goes in there, you're like, what hospital would you recommend for, let's say, a TIPS procedure or something like that. And there could be a place where people discuss medical stuff, concerning, alcohol-related diseases. And maybe another forum where we could have, for people that are struggling with alcohol. Another forum where people could be, discussing struggling with drugs and addiction, or, whatever. Just certain places that it could be organized in a way that people could get in there, and whatever your topic is, sort of like a Reddit is what I'm thinking. Where we could have different topics, different forums for people to discuss, but it'd be all under one umbrella. So if you guys have any really good ideas as far as that's concerned, I think that'd be a really good idea. And thanks to Chickens Don't Serve for recommending that. Like I said, I just haven't really looked into it. I haven't had a lot of time. And, I was scared that if I started something like that I was going to create something that I just was not going to be able to manage. But, like I said, I'm not going to be able to spend a whole lot of time in there. I will hop in there from time to time. But I would like to create something where people can communicate. And like I said, for the people that are out there that are lonely, especially people that are home sick and they're struggling and they don't have anybody to talk to, a place where they could post something and people could hop in and help support those certain individuals and stuff like that. I wish there was something like that when I was sick, and there probably was. I just didn't really go looking that deeply into it. And honestly, I don't know if I was ready to talk to people about that kind of stuff yet. I was really torn during that period of time, like really, really confused and depressed. So if you guys have any really good ideas about, what would be good to create, what kind of platform we should use, what would work for everybody, shoot me some ideas in the comments for today's video so that we can come up with something. I really would like to develop something for everybody to communicate on. But back to the discussion about loneliness. Like I said, I dealt with being lonely for a long time. And, it's really hard when you're dealing with something like a life-threatening disease and you don't really have anybody to talk to, and you're stuck, in your own head, dealing with your own thoughts. And, your mind can take you into some pretty dark places. And I went into some pretty dark places pretty often. There were a lot of days that I laid there in the bed thinking about how I had created this myself. I had done this to myself. I had become such a burden to my family. I wasn't, bringing anything to the table anymore. If anything, I was a burden. I'd put so much more work on my wife, on my kids. I cooked dinner for everybody every day. I cleaned the kitchen. There were so many things that I took care of that, went to the wayside, and my wife had to start picking up all the slack that I wasn't taking care of. I mean, just something as simple as taking out the trash every day, which is something I did. Now that was on my wife and my kids to take care of every day. And, that was really tough dealing with that. And, like I said, I got into some really dark places. I don't want to go into it, really. Let's just say that I had some really dark thoughts, and they happened just about every single day. And I would often lay in the bed and cry for a long period of time, feeling sorry for myself, which isn't a good thing, but I would. And I'm just being honest with you guys. I would lay there feeling sorry for myself. I would lay there thinking about how my life was over, all the missed opportunities that I had, how I should have stopped drinking long time ago, and I continued to drink knowing that it was causing me problems. And then thinking about how lonely I was. And, like, my wife had to go to work, and she couldn't spend the whole day talking to me. She would speak to me, send me text messages, or call me during the day when she had an opportunity. And that was great, and I really appreciated that from her. But I needed more. I needed more communication. And when you're just stuck, just sitting there laying, watching TV all day long, it gets really boring really quick. And I did have certain people that were there for me, and I have some really good friends out there that really showed me how good of a friend they are. People that came by, and I've got one good friend who came by here just about every week, and he's got a full life. I mean, he's got a family, he's got responsibilities, he's got a job, he works full time. And this guy would go out of his way once a week and, come by my house and spend a couple hours with me. And that really meant a lot to me. I looked so forward to those moments. I remember this one day, he was going to come by and come visit with me. And I was really, really ill during this period of time too. And I really wanted to make a good impression when he came by, and I knew he was going to come in and hang out with me. We were down there in the downstairs of the addition to our house, and man, I cleaned up that room that day. I spent the whole day cleaning, sweeping, mopping, dusting, vacuuming, cleaning the bathroom down there, and I remember being so tired. I felt so bad. But I pushed myself so hard because I just really I looked so forward to that afternoon when he was going to come by and see me. And I cleaned that whole day. And like something that would normally take me like 30 minutes to knock out took me a whole day to do. And I remember how hard I pushed myself to try to get that cleaned up because I was so excited about having somebody come over here to see me. And, just looking back on that now, those are the moments that really meant a lot to me during that period of time. And, I suffered from loneliness big time. And like I said, I still do. I still get lonely. I don't go to a job every day. I'm home a lot. My wife goes to work. My kids go to school. And they're home in the afternoons, and I get to see them then. But there's a lot of times I'm alone. And, and I've got all of you guys to talk to on here, which helps a lot. But person to person, socializing is, it's nice to do. It's nice to look somebody in the eye and talk face to face. And, so if you're at home right now and you're lonely and, you're alone, you don't have a whole lot of people to talk to, you're not by yourself in that. I dealt with that for a very long time. There were a lot of times that I was really sad and I didn't have anybody to talk to really. But don't give up. Just because you're lonely right now doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. And like I've talked about with, keeping your hope, keep your hope. That one day that you're going to get better, you're going to feel better. If you're struggling right now and you're trying to quit and you're scared to go anywhere because you don't want to get triggered, I get that too. I wouldn't want to go anywhere either. And, after some time passes by, you're going to be able to go back out again and socialize and interact with people. But just give it some time. Your sobriety is very important. If you're at home right now and you're sick and, you can't leave the house, there's a lot of people on this channel who are sick. And if you're dealing with that and you're laying in the bed every day and you can't go anywhere and your idea of socializing is, somebody coming to pick you up and take you to the doctor's office. I've been there. I know. I remember getting up and it was a big deal to go to the doctor. I would, get dressed up to go because I hadn't been anywhere in weeks, and going to the doctor's office was a big deal. I could stop and, maybe get my wife to stop by, some nice coffee shop and run in and get me a nice cup of coffee on the way. I mean, I would get really excited about those moments. Just to have a nice cup of coffee from somewhere other than from the house. But, keep the hope about that too. You might get better soon and be able to get back out again and go out in the public. You know, I remember going to the store and that being a huge deal, being able to go back out to the store again. I mean, I remember it was like a really big deal for me. You know, and that would be like our adventure for the day, you know, on like a Saturday or Sunday on the weekend. You know, I'd tell my wife, I think I want to go to the store today. And she would say, are you sure you really want to do that? And, you know, I felt horrible. My stomach was out to here, and, you know, my pants I could barely keep my pants up because the ascites was so bad. And I'd say, yeah, I really want to go out today. And I remember one time we went to the store, I was so ill, but I just wanted to get out of the house so bad because I just wanted to get out. And we went to the store, and I walked around for maybe about 2 minutes, and I told my wife, I said, I've got to go sit in the car. And I went and sat in the car, and I remember sitting there and thinking to myself, is this going to be like this forever? And I thought that it was. I really did. I mean, something as simple as just going to a store, I couldn't even do it. I felt so horrible. And I thought to myself that, you know, this is it. I'm never going to be able to do anything. But those days have changed. And I'm not saying this is going to be like this forever, because I'm sure there's going to be a point where I'll get sick again. But for now, you know, I'm enjoying these opportunities to go out and do things and enjoy my life. And, you know, you might have that opportunity one day as well. You know, hang in there. Because I really didn't think that I was ever going to be able to get up and be able to go out and do anything ever again. I really didn't. You know, just these past couple of days, we put a tent in my front yard, and I slept out in the front yard, just right there in my front yard with my kids in a tent. And I know that's not much. You know, it's not like we went up to the mountains and did some big adventure or anything. You know, we just slept in the front yard in a tent, but I did something with my kids. It was fun. And, you know, last night, my youngest son was like, I really don't want to sleep out here tonight. And I told him, I said, you know, there was a time when I didn't think that we would be able to do these types of things again. And, you know, we need to use each opportunity that we can to spend time together. And my son said, yeah, you're right, Dad. And he actually ended up going inside and sleeping in the house with my wife last night because he got so scared in the middle of the night. But, you know, I really didn't think I'd ever be able to do that kind of stuff ever again. And to be able to get out there and just do something as simple as sleep in the yard with my kids in a tent, you know, I'm so grateful to be able to do those types of things again. And, you know, like I said, I get lonely too. Still to this day. I still do. But, you know, hang in there. You know, whoever you are, if you're lonely, you know, there's going to be a chance, hopefully one day, that you can get back out and socialize again. But if you are alone, you're not alone. I was there. I'm still there. I've been there. I'm not saying I'm lonely as I was, but there's a lot of days I do. I mean, just being able to go to work every day. I never thought that I would ever miss work. Well, I do. And, you know, getting out every day and socializing with people, we need that. As human beings, we need connection. We need to socialize. We need to have friends. We need to have people to talk to. We're social creatures. It's ingrained in us. It's part of our makeup. It's what we need to be able to interact, to be happy. And not everybody. Some people are okay with being alone, and if that's you, that's fine. You know, some people really do enjoy being by themselves, and that's great if that's you. But not everybody, and a lot of people really do want to, you know, socialize with other people, and I completely understand. But like I said, hang in there, because there is a chance that you might be able to get back out there again. And like I said, I'm planning on creating something, a place for everybody to communicate, a place for people to share their thoughts, their feelings, talk about medical stuff, talk about, you know, struggling, others being able to come in there and help out with the individuals that are struggling, share tips and tricks. I just want to have a place for people to be able to communicate with each other. And, you know, we've created this beautiful community of people. You know, why not have a place for everybody to talk to each other? And it's an opportunity for everybody to become friends with each other and create new friendships and socialize. And yeah, it might not be one-on-one, face-to-face, but it's an opportunity for people to just get out there and just start talking to each other. You never know. You might meet somebody on there and you guys get to talking, and next thing you know, you exchange numbers or whatever, and before you know it, you're on your phone, FaceTiming with somebody that you never would have met, if it hadn't have been for meeting on this community. And I really would like to have an opportunity for everybody to be able to socialize with each other and make new friends, and a place for people that are lonely to be able to strike up conversations and interact with other human beings, because it is very important, especially if you're really lonely, stuck at home, you can't really go anywhere right now, or if you're laying in a hospital bed. Been there too, and that can be really lonely. Especially if you don't have family that's close by or friends that can come visit you. If you're in the hospital, I saw so many people in the hospital that did not have anybody coming to visit them at all. And when I was in the hospital, I spent long stretches of time in there. And there'd be people in the room next door to me, that never had anybody come to visit them at all, ever. And I would have people in and out of there, family members coming to see me, and these people never had anybody. And that was really sad to see. And a lot of those people were on their deathbeds when they were laying there too, and they were all alone. When we get deep down into our addiction, we do tend to push a lot of people away in our life. We hurt a lot of people, we lie to people. People get tired of dealing with us because, especially myself, I was the type of person who would get intoxicated and call people, and, I'd be slurring my words, and, if something happened 2 days before, that's when I would call to talk about it when I was intoxicated, which is not the way to handle things. And they could tell that I was drunk when I would call. And, but anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about this today, that if you are alone, you're lonely, you're not alone. I didn't mean to say it that way, but there are others like you out there. And I've been there too. I really have. And I'm really sorry that you're going through that. But I'm gonna get something created here soon so that there's a place for others to communicate. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. What would be the best platform for us to do this on, so we can get this started, and we can go from there. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I know this is the last day of the weekend right now for any of you guys that are off. For any of you guys who were trying to stay sober through the weekend and made it, congratulations to you. And I know it's not easy, especially if you went out to the lake or the beach or whatever. There's always people out there drinking. And, there's commercials all over the television right now. All the big alcohol companies are out there putting out their commercials of people having a blast at the beach and all that kind of stuff. They don't ever show the negative part of it, though. They don't ever have somebody laying in their bed the next day after a night of, binge drinking, laying there trying to nurse their hangover. They don't show you that part. They show you the fun part of, playing volleyball on the beach or swimming around the ocean and building sand castles and all that kind of stuff and hanging out on boats and stuff. But they don't show you the back end of what comes with all that partying and stuff. I wish they would show that. But anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. And until then, y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.